Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winner Circle. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Cody.
And we are here coming to you right after the BB premiere. It literally just ended. So Cody and I had a quick session, talked about it a little bit just to kind of get our bearings. We made a little chart for ourselves. So we have the pictures and names of each house guest. It'll take us a few weeks to learn them. But we're coming to you right now. We want to get right into it. So Cody, what'd you think of the premiere? 90 minutes tonight. What were your thoughts? Just overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. I was having a very difficult time staying awake. I think we were talking about it a little bit.
And shots fired.
No. Not anything on any of the cast members. It's just this first episode, when they do the live intro and they don't have anybody editing up, it always seems like they have to slow it down. They can't add any interactions, any conversations in the house. Like I'm used to, the house guests move in early. The premiere episode, they've already been in the house for like 5-10 days. These live premieres are really difficult because you have to get that home video in, right? And then they have to bring them in like 4 at a time. And I'm just like, it's slow. And then they have to do the competitions and there's no conversations to be had because there has been no conversations at all because they are just getting into the house. It's their first 90 minutes in the house, the same for us watching. So these live premieres, I've got to tell you, there's not enough twists. I know they gas it up every year, but it's a little boring for me. And not to say the show is boring or the cast is going to be boring, because that's not what I'm saying at all. These 90-minute live premieres are like, I'm like, oh, come on. I want to see some stuff happening. And there's really no way to do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
It is very predictable after 24 years, and they're kind of constrained by the house and what they, their limitations of what they have there. I hear you on that, but let me just positive spin real quick. And you and I were talking earlier in the day, and I tweeted it. I just love Big Brother, man.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I get so jacked up about the show.
Yeah.
I got jacked up before I was on it. Now there's a different layer to it.
Yeah.
I had FaceTime Cody earlier because when we were in the house, game days, we used to always make cheese quesadillas. Yep. And I was like, just feeling it today. And I was like, yo, look what I made today. Made some cheese quesadillas.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that I still love the show after so many years and after playing it and having really good experiences and some bad ones. I did have a question for you. And it's kind of a stupid one. I think I know the answer, but the little DR boxes that popped up, that was kind of new. So are we to assume they had, because it was very generic what they were saying in those DR boxes. Yep. Are we to assume they were recorded beforehand before they had the live tonight?
That was, because do you remember when we were on there, right? We had our press day and we did all of our interviews. They probably brought them in to the DR and were like, what are you planning on doing? Are you winning this first HOH? Give me it in present tense. And they probably skewed it that way to see where you can't mention anybody that's going on. So make it seem like, oh, this is not live, but hey, it is live.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'll ask you about it again. Another year, no live audience for coming into the house.
California, man, it's a little different.
I know it's just like, but I mean, throw a mask on, put people in the audience.
Yeah,
it's like the people are like, shows are open, like stuff's happening. People like, let's get a live audience so these people hear the cheers. Like that is such a huge part,
dude. It is
of the show. But then again, I guess they're testing them every week still. And so if somebody tests positive in the house, it could be an issue. So I guess they're doing it for that reason. But it's just
that's really what it is.
Yeah,
that's really what it is because
every week, right?
Because even if you test an audience member, like they get in the audience and they got COVID like an hour before.
Yeah.
And now they give it to a house guest somehow because they're coughing into the air. Now you have house guests who have to leave. It's going to ruin the show.
Yeah.
So risk worth reward. So I get it, but it's like, it just sucks. It sucks. But
and they're doing it so that they don't have to pull cast members out, add somebody in, shut the show down, because it's a live show that needs to be running 24/7.
Can't do it.
So I get it for that reason. It's just like let's.
I think they're hoping. I think they're hoping by the end of the year they have a live audience. I really do. So. I think they're hoping because Julie's. I know some people. I love Julie. I know you love Julie.
Yeah.
I just think she brings a different element when she's got an audience to play off of. I've been in the crowd. You've been in the crowd. I just think it's a different vibe for her. It's a different vibe for us. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
But real quick, we open the show, And we did our cast reveal. If you haven't watched that yet, please go back and watch it. We go over each cast member based on what was released, based on the Us Weekly interview that was done with Sharon Tharp. We basically kind of weighed in a little bit about our first impressions, who we think is going to win this year based on preseason, notes on each house guest. But now tonight we get a little bit more of an in-depth look at each house guest because you're getting the home videos. Do you want to hit a couple house guests that maybe surprised you, kind of what you expected? Maybe you were a little bit more underwhelmed tonight than your initial impressions. Maybe you were more enthused about a couple of them. And we also, I'll wait for the second part, but that's the first question.
Yeah, so I would say the first person that I'm going to touch on is Nicole. I liked her even more. You texted me. You were like, why are people tweeting at me? In her intro video, it literally had one of your DRs. She had Big Brother playing on the TV.
Yeah, I missed it.
And so, but again, just like her answers and how she talked about her life experiences and everything, I felt that much more confident in Nicole. I am very confident with my pick. Another person I was a little surprised by, because I had said to you, I was like, in his answers, he seemed like he had a good grasp on the game. Then I saw his at-home video, and that's Kyle. Kyle seems like he's going in there to have a good time. I don't know that Kyle really has this crazy grasp of the game. If he learns it on the fly, good for him. But he seems like more of a personality to me now after seeing his at home.
Well, what did I say to you last night? I said, hey, he's unemployed. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, there's something. He called himself an entrepreneur, but now he's like, I do TikTok dances. And I was like, so he's got nothing up his sleeve. He's just unemployed.
But I will say, we said it before recording, I got to take back what I said last night.
Yeah,
because last night I was like, oh, Kyle, he's kind of boring. Nah, he's a good looking guy. Kyle, when you see this eventually, my bad, homie.
Let me tell you, Kyle, that gets you absolutely nothing in the Big Brother house. But hey, maybe a couple of showmances, but who knows? Right. Who's somebody else? I think Joseph is a good addition. We didn't really get to touch on him.
Well, that's something to bring up. Fill him in for people who don't know. I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name? That's now Marvin's off the show. He's going on America's Got Talent. Replaced him with Joseph. So
and
Joseph
I thought it was
a
good replacement. An attorney or studying to be an attorney. Seems like a really good guy, good looking guy, chiseled up body, adds to the dynamic of like, is there going to be a showmance? He's going to get into that because there's some good looking girls on this cast. So there's enough where there could be that dynamic of a showmance. There's a lot of intelligent people. And that's where I wanted to fire it back at you. Right. So you picked Michael.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Michael now?
I mean, how should I feel? I mean, the guy's a member of Mensa. I didn't even know that. Just raised his stock even more. He's got a Big Brother Bible. Now, we've had people in the past who've done something like that and not done great. So I think actually last season, Claire she had a Big Brother Bible. She was actually a really good player. She was just going against the greatest alliance of all time. They were just playing for something bigger than Big Brother. So you know what? I think he's going to go very far in the game. He's by far, in my opinion, from what we've seen, the biggest super fan on the show. He's a member of Mensa.
Maybe not Brittany. Brittany had a notepad as well. I don't know if we call it a Bible, but
yeah, Brittany. But Brittany comes off strong to me.
Yep, I agree with you. 100%.
She's got the eyes. She's like a kid in a candy store. She's got to reel it in a little bit. I felt like she came off a little strong, and we're gonna get into her later because apparently she stood out to someone else too, but not for the right reasons.
And I'll tell you, I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not surprised at all either. But Michael, I feel great about my pick. Couple others didn't. I know it's going to sound like we're ragging on him. Didn't love Turner in his home footage. He seems awkward. That's not great to be in the house. If you're trying to go far, you got to be able to blend in fast. Daniel's going to be very likable. Everyone's going to be. He's a showman. I think Terrence is going to be very likable.
Yeah.
Who else did I really like? There's a couple strong personalities. Indy, I think, is going to be a strong personality.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Indy's going to be fiery. Indy's going to be fiery. She'll be involved in drama if she's in there for a period. I really, really like Jasmine.
Jasmine's great.
I really like Jasmine. She's like this country girl, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, but she definitely has that like loyal core. And I feel like she has that genuine like kind of nature that's going to ooze out of her and people are going to really like her. Now she's going to have to be a gamer, right? Because it seems like there's going to be a lot of people in there that are going to look to play. Like I think Ashley's going to look to play. I think Amir is going to look to play. I think Brittany's going to be a little bit of an outcast. I think Daniel's going to look to play. I think Indy's going to be fiery. Jasmine, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just going across the top list. Like She's going to have to play because that like nice nature isn't going to carry her through the game unless it's just kind of like, hey, sorry that I have to put you on the block, but she's going up. So I'm eager to see kind of how it plays out. You know what I was really liking? Okay, so I don't want to jump ahead, but we'll get to the competitions. But is there any other
I think we got it. I think for the most part, we're going to see over the live feeds. And that's why, by the way, if you didn't catch the first one yet, we have a live feed correspondent this year. She's going to be doing 2 episodes a week, covering the feeds, covering what we're not covering on the episode. You might have heard of her. Her name's Tiffany Mitchell. Yeah. She was probably the best strategist on BB23.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Do you guys
might know her.
She is? Okay.
Kind of a good player. So she's going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays covering the feeds. And so we're going to have feeds. I think they're popping on tonight after the West Coast airing. And we're going to have a lot. First episode with Tiffany will come out Monday. We'll be producing it on Sunday. So yeah, if you want to get into the comps, that's when you're really going to learn about the people and their dynamic. Right now, we're not Houdini. We're seeing what you guys are seeing. Yeah. You can get a general read on them, but it could also be completely off.
Right. So it brings us to the competition. As each of these house guests were entering the house, they had to grab these little tickets, and their tickets were scanned and put them off into these different groups. Group 1 was the porta potty group, which was Kyle, Monty, Paloma, Nicole, and Jasmine. Group 2 was group 2 the piercing, or was that group 3?
Group 2. I've been calling group 2 the piercings.
Group 2 is the piercings with Turner, Brittany, Joseph, Terrence, and Taylor, and it was the apparel, or kind of I can't remember.
Gonna hang all those earrings on your face.
Well, no, that was group 2. I'm going to group 3, which was
group 3,
the merchandise group. Amira, Daniel, Ashley, Michael, and Indy. And so each of these groups are going to be competing in a certain competition. One person is going to go on to be able to compete for the final HOH. So one of the 3 groups, 3 people competing for HOH, 1 HOH winner. I kind of like that.
I do too. They kind of did it on All Stars too.
Yeah.
Don't forget Pooch either.
Groups, right?
Yeah. Don't forget Pooch. Pooch, his pass, we don't know at this point what it is, but he gets thrown up in a chair. By the way, you guys did Pooch dirty on that one, even though you didn't know it was going to be him. That chair was way too big for Pooch. His feet was not touching the ground, and that was a rough look for Pooch on opening night to see even that chair. I like Pooch just because I think he's he's funny looking. I don't know. He's just like,
I think Pooch is he'll probably be very.
Bro, your boy was sweating. Your boy was sweating so bad. I know you felt him on
his
that.
armpits, dude. The armpit at the end, man. Bro, come on. Honestly, you go up there, right? She goes backstage pass, and you don't even know what you have no idea what's going on. She's like, you can't compete all week. I would have immediately been like, this is the worst. I better have safety.
Joe got pooched. He got pooched hard, man.
Yeah, but I like Pooch. I think he's very intelligent, and I think kind of because he's got these piercing blue eyes, he's a good-looking guy that he'll just be looked at as the good-looking dumb guy. But I think he's a very intelligent guy. Yep. So he goes up, and now we get into the competition. And the first competition I thought was awesome, right? They get to listen for 1, 2, or 3. What number was mentioned the most? And the thing that I love the most about it is that you saw how locked in everybody was. It was tight, right? The first one, which it's so unfortunate because Paloma ended up losing, but not because she got the answer wrong, just because she didn't answer it quick enough. Mm-hmm. And it's not like she was, she rang in late. She rang in. Everybody almost rang in at the same time, to the point where I was sitting there being like, wait, who's going to get blasted right now?
Yep. I had no clue.
She got crushed. Mm-hmm. Crushed by that. Poor Paloma. I don't even think she was ready for it because everybody's hands came in. There was no telling what was going to happen. She got blindsided by that slime. And honestly,
that outfit's ruined.
Outfit's ruined, right? So one of my buddies hit me up and was asking who does the laundry. And I was like, they have to do the laundry themselves. And he goes, that's kind of messed up that those outfits, that nobody's going to wash them for them. And quite frankly, I completely agree. Shout out to my boy McManus. Those outfits are ruined, right? And none of them were told, hey, wear something in there that you don't really care about. They all were dressed to the nine. They all got their nicest outfit. What do you want to be seen on national television? Because you know you're going to be seen. And Big Brother ruined it for 4 out of those 5 people.
Dude, I remember I got a little bit of a heads up, but Big Brother gives you sneakers for the competition. So you get size for sneakers before you go in there. So we got this nice pair of Asics sneakers before we went in. And on night 1, My HOH competition was like a spit with like red food dye.
Yes.
And if you remember, Code,
Yes.
the sneakers were white. So my first night in the house, my sneakers were ruined.
Bro, mine were golden. I rocked them the entire rest of the season. You couldn't wear them.
Yeah, I mean, they were mine. Yeah, yours was still pure white, looked dope. And I had to wear mine, but they were just like pink the whole season. If you look and go back, you see they're pink. So Big Brother really don't care. They really don't. So yeah, for those people with those outfits that got the porta potty competition, they just bad luck of the draw, I guess, you know? They really got slammed.
So we fast forward, Jasmine ends up getting out. Nicole ends up getting out, and then we're stuck with Monty and Kyle. And I liked how Monty won this competition because he almost like was like, oh, I know what the answer is. Where I'm at a point, I'm just going to ring in before the stuff is done talking, so I don't allow Kyle to ring in, and it ended up working out for him. He like kind of anticipated it, which was sick. So then Kyle goes, Monty moves on, and Monty wins the first competition, so he's going to be competing for HOH. Next one we have is the earrings, right? Nothing crazy to talk about here.
No real skill set. No real skill set on that one. I think from the porta potty one, you can get an insight into skill set.
Yes.
Monty's ability to process and go quick. Everybody's seeing that.
Yep.
Big dude, brawn, right? Huge, but smart too.
And cool under pressure.
Cool under pressure. Kyle, same thing. Like, they may not be just jocks. They may have a brain in that skull of theirs. That's something that everybody else should be taking note of, because that's something you can go, oh, he's someone to watch out for.
Yeah, I totally agree. But now, do you think that there's people on the first day doing that?
I was.
You were.
I was looking at.
That's why your name is getting mentioned when it's like favorite past house guest. Derrick.
We didn't get to see yours.
Still in the live and still in the premiere episode.
We didn't get to see yours, but I remember watching the spit and seeing like how strong Caleb was. Even Hayden. I knew night one Hayden was a beast. Mm-hmm. I know like he didn't get that edit in the show, but you and I both talked about it. Like Hayden was super smart and super athletic. Yeah. And we were concerned about him until we sent him home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the airing competition, nothing to take
away, other than Turner showed a little bit of like, it's like, dude, just stick the thing on your ear, on your eyebrow. Like, he was able to mess up that many times and nobody was even close enough, and he was still panicking. Like, dude, put the thing on your eye. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, waiting for Turner to go home, but it's I was like, all right, buddy, just be a little more calm, cool, and collected, like you saw Monty and Kyle do in the previous competition. But anyway, Turner wins that one. He moves on to the HOH competition. And then we have one of the hardest things. I don't know if you've ever done this at the boardwalk, right? It's like beat 60 seconds and you just hang. Dead man hang. Yep. Bro, this thing is so difficult. So difficult. And I felt bad because, these were competitions where, like, if you're watching these are easy ways to maybe find your nominees, right? First person out of the one comp, first person out of the hanging one. The earrings one didn't really have anything, which we see later on, but it's like, these ones are tough, man. Because those aren't like the wall, right? Where I always say the wall, these bigger guys, it's kind of not really meant for them. That competition where it's like a dead man's hang, that competition wasn't for Ashley or Amira. You know what I mean? No. So they struggled with that, or Indy, and then it's like, it ends up being a reason why one of them could have an issue moving forward. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of tough, but it was like, Daniel was struggling. Your boy Michael almost went right through.
Yeah. Michael's not going to be a physical threat. I mean, he's kind of well-rounded. I just really like Michael. And I know he said he wanted to win the first comp. That was like his goal. He had gave the percentages on it, which, by the way, pretty cool. I think he said like a 25% chance of winning the show if you win the first comp, which I'm looking at a guy right here who won the first comp and won the show. So there's one example of it. But no, it wasn't set up for everybody. It definitely takes just pure arm strength, and actually even more important than arm strength, just grip strength.
Yeah.
So Daniel wins that comp. I think there's a little bit to be taken from it. I think someone else watching might say, hey, okay, Daniel, if it's a hanging comp or an endurance comp involving arm strength, Daniel's someone to watch out for. That's someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And then we move on to the HOH competition, and Daniel ends up blowing through the puzzle. And even Monty was turning and was like, whoa, like he flew through that. And you think Monty's the only one that noticed that? So now Daniel hangs on. Daniel blows through the puzzle. Daniel wins the first HOH. Like, that's right. Daniel did a lot of things in this first HOH competition to make it seem like, okay, this guy could be a threat. Where like most of the times I'm like, let people show that they're a competitive threat. He already has shown that. He already has shown like the puzzle, which puzzles are not easy, right? He
No.
blew through that, and he has the strength to hold on to something, which is correlates to the wall competition. If you have the ring HOH competition where you're spinning around, there's a lot of different things that people could correlate that to with Daniel to be like, this guy could be a threat. So Daniel wins the first HOH, and then we find out a little bit more about the backstage pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the backstage pass was brutal. Not what you want night one.
No.
Little back story behind it. The backstage pass, basically Julie says, Pooch, good news is this.
Oh, it's a backstage boss. My bad.
Backstage boss. Backstage boss. Bad news, you're not going to be able to compete in the veto or any competitions this week. Good news is you can't be nominated. You're safe for the week. So it's basically a free safety week. He gets to just build relationships, which is awesome. I think it's great for him.
Yeah.
However, the negative, the con to it is severe. Because when you're going in there, the last thing you want to do when you're not HOH is create any enemies. However, I will say, even though it's a horrible situation to be faced with, I thought he handled it as best as you can. And I'm not saying it's great, I'm not saying it's genius. We've all the great players have done this strategy. You basically put it back on Big Brother. So he takes the commercial break to think about it. I actually thought he was going to just pick people. I thought he was going to, maybe not be a super fan of the show, and he was going to go, I'm sorry, I'm just going to pick you, and you because you stand out. That would have been fatal. That's not a good
horrible
move.
Yeah.
But he blames Big Brother.
Yeah.
He blames Big Brother, and he blames the person that he's picking. And I think he was being genuine, but if he wasn't, it makes it even more genius, where he's basically like, I didn't even get to see the comps because I was up there. I don't even know your names. Like, this is not personal at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was like, listen, I don't even know who finished last.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter to me. But you tell me who finished last. That's who's going up. Now, do you think he was being genuine with that, or do you think that was strategy, like playing dumb, playing ignorant?
I don't know. It's tough to say because there was a lot in front of him, but I think he probably had an idea. But I love the strategy, right? Like we always go into that. You want to get the least amount of blood on your hands in that first week, and we saw it on 16. We saw Tyler Crispin, one of the greats that has ever played Big Brother. He did it on season 20, and Tyler we saw do it, and he went over the top a little bit more and like broke down in tears that he had to nominate the two people that went out first because he didn't know what to do. And I think Pooch made a great play there. The only issue is he had to pick one.
Yep.
And he picked Brittany.
Why do you think that was?
I think Brittany is just because like think about it in the group. So the one that he didn't see, Turner won, Brittany, Joseph, Terrence, Taylor.
Just stood out to him.
I think in the group, Brittany's just like Brittany's the biggest personality.
Yeah.
Right. That we've seen so far. And even in the video, like she's like, oh, and I think he just was looking and just like locked eyes with her and was like, you. It's got.
And what did he say to her? He's like, you just stood out to me.
You stood out to me.
Sorry. Yeah, that was it. And so could she hold a little bit of a grudge against him? Honestly, yeah, she could. Right. Hey, listen, you just looked at me and picked me, so clearly your first impression of me is I'm expendable.
Easily.
So, I mean,
easily. But she will take that. She will not take that lightly. Which also,
even if she doesn't take it personal, it gives her a reason if she wins HOH to nominate you.
Yeah, well, I think that'll go with like because Paloma seemed like kind of like a good sport about it. Ashley seemed pissed. Ashley was like,
yeah, a little bit, right?
This is the route you're gonna go. That's what it felt like was coming from Ashley. Like Ashley, I feel like Ashley possibly could be like a Janelle type. Like, okay, I don't give a shit. I'm going to call you out if I want to call you out. I'm going to say whatever I want to say, which is great. And if she is, it would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal.
We have some strong personalities on the season. You can tell.
There's not going
to be a lot of, I feel like there's not going to be a lot of floaters. I'm looking at the cast right now. You're going to have a few, obviously, but I don't think there's going to be a lot. But I want to pose a question to you guys, whether you're listening on audio or video. I want you to put two things in the comments if you're watching on video. I want you to put who your preseason pick was before tonight's episode. And I want to give you the opportunity to tell us if you're changing your pick after night one. We're going to give that to you. I want you to put who you picked based on what you read, what you saw in the video interviews if you watched it, and are you sticking with your pick or are you changing it now that you've gotten to see a little glimpse of them? Cody, I think I know your answer, but I'm going to give you that opportunity as well.
I already said it. I said it early on. Nicole
Locked in.
She locked me in even more when I saw her at home and just her whole story. You know what I mean? Like her mother going through cancer and all that. Like it just, I was even more locked in with Nicole. I liked her. The only thing I didn't like was in the competition, I would have wished she would have gotten out because she wasn't quick enough to get the right answer, but she straight up got the wrong answer. I was like, damn, Nicole. But I still really like her. And I think she's going to be very liked in the house.
Yeah, I think she's going to blend in with a lot of people. And being a cop, I can obviously attest to that. She's dealt with many different types of personalities, usually in really difficult situations.
Yep.
So it's something that you learn to be a mediator, to kind of diffuse and de-escalate situations. So if there is some drama in the house, even if it doesn't involve her, she may become the natural mediator to kind of be that shoulder to cry on, which is very valuable in the house, because if people feel like they can confide in you, if they can escape the game for a minute and be real with you, that's their opportunity to remove themselves from the game mentally and talk to someone like a friend, not an alliance member. That's what you really want to do. You want to break down that wall, and you want the person that you're speaking to view you as someone that they will keep a relationship with outside the house, and not just someone they're trying to work with in the game. If you can do that, it's going to be very hard for them to nominate you. I promise you that.
Or even
easy to nominate an alliance member.
Yeah.
Not easy to nominate a friend.
Yeah. And definitely even harder to send home a friend.
Of course.
So I think in this group, I still feel very confident with Nicole. I'm eager to see what everyone else weighs in on and who were their early picks, if they still really like their early picks, why they really like their early picks. Like, let us know, and let us know if you agree with Derrick and I. Like, Derrick has
sticking with Michael.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with him.
I have Nicole. And I think both of us are very confident in our picks. It's a little weird this year that we're not rooting for the same person.
I like it though.
Yeah.
I like it though. I think it's good. And there's a few that do stand out to me that could easily win, and I wouldn't be surprised. But we can't hedge our bets. That's cheating. So
no, we're not hedging our bets.
We're not hedging our bets. We'll stick with who we have. That's what we got. We want to hear from you guys. You have the opportunity, just like us, way down in the comments below. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review and leave a comment. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Not a bad thing. It's okay. Also, if you guys haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, turn on those bell notifications, because we really appreciate it. There's one last thing that they hit us with, and that is that America's going to be voting for one of the three. So Pooch had to pick one of the three. He picks Alyssa, Brittany, Paloma, and now America is going to get to vote.
I was Ashley.
What I call her, Amanda?
Alyssa.
Ashley, yep. Brittany, and Paloma. Brittany, and Paloma. And one of those three is going to be voted by America to be safe. So I guess that's where the safety comes in. We still haven't figured out what the other two, what's going to be in the future for the other two. But so now I'm eager. I wanted to ask you, so you have Pooch off the table, you have Brittany off the table, you have Ashley off the table, and you have Paloma off the table. Daniel's the HOH.
Yep.
The amount of people that he can nominate just got drastically limited.
No, he can nominate all three of those people. That's the twist.
I thought they couldn't be nominated.
No.
It was that they couldn't go home.
No, all three of them can be nominated. America will vote on one of the three to not be eligible to go home.
Are you sure that's what not to couldn't go home? I thought it was that they were safe, but that doesn't mean they can't go home.
I was under the impression, way down in the comments, we'll clarify for next episode. So the reason that this thing was negative was Pooch had to pick three people that would not get to play in the competitions, but were still eligible to be nominated and go home.
Is that what it was that I missed?
That's why it's a bad thing. He's like, here's the bad news. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Otherwise, they would have been thanking him if they were eligible to go home. It was a negative where now those three people can't even fight to save themselves, but Daniel can still nominate him.
Okay.
Now America gets to save one of those three.
So who do you think early on, who do you think is going to get saved to those three?
Brittany.
Easy.
Brittany.
I just felt like saved. It was like the second he picked Brittany, I was like, Brittany's getting saved.
Here's the only thing I don't know, and it'd be kind of cool. If America, let's say they vote for Brittany, but they don't tell the house that she's safe until after the votes are read. Because if Brittany gets voted out and then boom, it pops up, America saved her, Brittany's now in a driver's seat because she knows they were going to vote her out.
And you're talking about let the whole week play out. And then what would that ultimately be doing? It's like it's like, sorry, Brittany got voted out. So even if it's a unanimous vote, the person sitting next to her goes home.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
I don't
Kind
like
of
that. I'll be messed
kind of like
up.
Paul with the friendship thing, or whatever he had. He had the medallion.
Yeah.
Cody Nixon voted him out, and he was like, "Nah, bro,
No.
you're
He
going
went to
home."
put him on the block.
That's right. Went to put him on the block, and Paul was like, "Nope." But they were going to send him home,
Oh yeah. And
and he was like, "Nah."
So
He's like,
I like that. And I kind of would be cool to go along the lines of she's safe at the nomination ceremony if she gets nominated at any point. Like whether it's the nomination ceremony or the veto, that's when she pops up and goes, boom. I know you were coming after me.
I got the safety from
That's where it'd
America."
be cool. I don't know if you could drag it out to an eviction night.
But here's why I think they might do that. Because I think let's say Brittany wins it. If they announce to the House that Brittany got safety from America and she doesn't get nominated, they're hurting Brittany's game. Because now the rest of the House knows that America likes Brittany. So for Brittany's game, to be fair,
yeah,
they shouldn't expose her or whoever wins it. Let's say Ashley wins it or Paloma wins it. Big Brother, I hope some of the producers check this out. Don't expose her unless they need to be exposed.
Yeah.
Because it makes more drama for us to see Daniel's reaction when his nom says, "Nope, I'm safe." And also for the three people who are already at a disadvantage now, it doesn't put them further at a disadvantage because you expose that America likes them initially and that they may get safeties down the road. I just think
America knows something that we don't. Maybe there was something in their bio. Like, why was she safe? I like that. Producer nod. Producer Derrick hat on.
Well, think about Team America. If you guys knew we were part of Team America, I think naturally, organically, you'd be like, F these guys. They're getting like America's like money and stuff.
Yeah.
They're gone.
They're getting voted. They got voted in by America.
Yeah, they're gone. They're getting put on the block. They ain't getting any powers at the end. Yeah. They're gone.
Yeah.
So I think that would be cool. I think that would be cool. I think if they save it and it's like a secret safety and they tell her in the diary room where America voted for you to be safe. If you need to use it, here's your safety medallion or whatever. But if you don't get nominated, it goes away.
I like it. Now, on the flip side, random. Who do you think Daniel goes for the nominations?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay. This is so loaded because it's so hard.
Shot in the dark.
I think he's probably, there might be a promise in there where if Daniel's smart, unless he knows absolutely they're going to go home, I don't think he should nominate one of the three people that couldn't protect themselves. I think he goes to the House and says, "Listen, guys, I'm not going to go after them. We just got here. We're all trying to be fair," because now he garners favor with those three. They couldn't protect themselves. So that would limit his protections. I could see it being a popularity contest, and just based on initial impressions, if he has to nominate two people, I say he nominates Turner and I'm going to say Turner and Joseph. That's my picks. Who are your picks? I just feel like they were a little socially awkward. I feel like other people were vibing, even in those initial comps. During the commercial breaks, you saw Amira talking to Jasmine.
Yeah, I think Turner's it's going to be on the, just because I feel like Turner has that like awkwardness. And what I feel like is going to happen with Turner is he's going to get in the room by himself with Daniel, probably start like, having conversations that I feel like Daniel is like a pretty outgoing guy. Right. And I think that he's going to be easy to talk to. And I feel like the conversation between him and Turner may not be that way.
It's just not good.
And he's going to be like, all right, no, I'm sorry. Because Turner may come in hot and be like, hey man, you think, am I going to be safe? I would have kept you safe if I would have won because you had the opportunity to play, you were in the HOH, I would have kept you safe. And I don't know, that could rub somebody the wrong way. I feel like Turner, I think Monty. So I'm thinking that he probably stays away from the people in his group, right? So he probably gives the people in his group like the pass, which is Amira, Ashley, Michael, and Indy. Okay. I think Monty's definitely going to be good. I mean, Nicole is my pick, so she's definitely going to work her magic. She's going to be good. He's going to stay away from Paloma. I don't think he's going to go for Terrence because he's not going to want Terrence to be like the older. He's not going to want Terrence to be like, oh, I'm going to put the older guy up. Let's just send him home. I got to tell you, I don't know. I don't know how the conversation is going to go with Taylor because I'll tell you what, Taylor comes from that beauty pageant background, right? And the beauty pageant background is a little catty, right?
Okay.
And I feel like Taylor has that cattiness in her. I already saw it in her when they did the intro. When they did her intro and they showed her back home, Taylor has a little bit of that cattiness in her. If it comes out at all in any conversations, like, and because the first HOH is just looking for something. Maybe somebody had an issue, maybe something. Like everybody can't be Hockey Dory in the first week, but I don't know. I could see like a Taylor going up. I could see a Turner going up. I could see a Kyle going up.
Kyle going up? Interesting. Yeah. Kyle, huh?
I could see Kyle. Well, I'm just saying like the people that I think he's going to,
I think Daniel's going to look at Kyle. Kyle's going to be liked by everybody. He's going to blend in with everybody. I think everyone.
You don't think his personality could be too much?
I think he was already like, let's go. He was like talking to Michael. Michael hadn't even said a word to him. He's like, love the shirt, bro. Let's go, Michael. Yeah. Like he was like hyping people up already.
That was a Jace thing, and Jace went home first.
Jace was over the top though, bro.
Yeah, he's not as much as this. But then again, this guy's kind of over the top, bro. He's like, I got something, but I can dance. Woo!
We'll see.
I was like,
dude, I feel so confident that Joseph or Turner are going on the block.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel pretty confident about Turner as well. I'm just trying to spitball going through all of them.
Like it's going to be, this is why it's interesting. We're going to know, I'll tell you what, after our live feed episode with Tiffany on Monday, we'll probably have a better idea who's going home. That's
probably
sure.
right. You're probably right. But also, I have to announce, I am not going to be here for next week's episode.
Of course, slacker.
I'm going to Italy. But I will be back, obviously, for the following week's episode and for the eviction. So I'm going to be missing next week's episode and next week's eviction. So I don't know if you can handle it without me.
I think I'll survive. I think I might maybe we'll have a special guest on. Maybe we'll have Tiffany fill in. She's got to do 2 episodes. So yeah, the episodes are still going on. Monday, you'll have the audio and video come out for Tiffany's live eviction recap. Then Wednesday, same thing. Yeah, live feed recap. Thank you. And then you'll have on Wednesday, live feed recap again, audio and video coming a couple hours apart. Then on Friday, you'll have me for the recap of is it going to be a first live eviction that night? It would be.
It's got to be.
All right. So you have the first live eviction. I'll cover the week recap because there's a couple episodes before that. It'll either be Tiffany or someone else. And then I will, if there is an eviction, we can announce it right now. CBS has been gracious enough to allow the Winner Circle to interview the evicted house guests before they're released back to the wild. So every single week, we will be interviewing the evicted house guests. We'll be taking questions from you guys. We'll be having our own questions. It's usually pretty quick, but we'll get it done. We'll make you proud. That's for sure. So that interview will probably be coming out on Saturdays.
And also what we're going to do, because it's a lot of people had an issue when we were like posting questions on our Instagram. I feel like the people that are on here watching these episodes are going to be coming out right on the Friday. DM us, because if you're watching the live show and you see it, send a DM to the Winner Circle Cast at Winner Circle Cast on Instagram, and that's how we're going to do the fan questions for the evicted house guest. We're not going to put up a post. We're not going to do like a spoiler. DM us if you're watching and you're up to date with it, DM us a question that you want for the evicted house guest, and that's how we'll pull it. We'll pull one every week from somebody on our Instagram.
Yeah. And as far as the YouTube thumbnails, we got to go back to posting. I mean, if you don't want to see the thumbnails, I would say don't look. I mean, do you agree with that? Because otherwise all the thumbnails look the exact same. It's just our logo. And it's for people who are trying to find interviews of specific house guests, it's hard. It's hard to find them when we don't put their names or their photos in the title or the thumbnail. I get where people are coming from, where they're scrolling through YouTube and they stumble upon it. But not anybody's dad here. But I would strongly recommend that in this world we live in now, with social media being the way it is and so everything being so instant, if you haven't watched the episode yet, keep it limited. Don't go on a lot of social media platforms, because if it's not us, it's going to be someone else you run across that's going to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get information out there as quick as possible. We're doing 4 episodes a week. We want you guys to be able to find the catalog after the fact. So we got to do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So anything else to cover, Cody? We're good?
Nothing else. Let's rock and roll, baby. Week 1
All right.
In the books.
Week 1 in the books. First episode down. Overall, I'm very excited. I think the season could be chaotic. I think it could have strategy. I think there's a lot of big personalities in there. We're looking forward to sharing the experience with you. So again, just to remind you guys, We won't be back until next Friday. However, if you're subscribed to the channel and you have notifications on, you will see a live feed recap from Tiffany Mitchell, BB23 Tiffany Mitchell, on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we'll be back with you Friday. We want to thank you for joining us here on the Winner Circle tonight. We will see you next week.